What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Tony TV, and it's time for the takeover. So you already know, Challenge Wednesday. Tonight we got episode 7 of season 37, and this episode finally got heated up. It got pretty good. So this episode is left off from last week's episode when you had the whole argument over the slice of pizza, who ate the pizza, with Amber B and Fessy. They was arguing, and then Esther jumped in, calling Amber fake, and then they called Josh in, and how him and Fessy was going at it. So that's what the episode ended off at. Also, remember that Tori and Corey started all of this, and they pulling everybody in. They was instigating the whole situation because they lied and said that Fessy ate the pizza. All right, we ended off with Fessy and Josh. Now they arguing because, you know, at this point, they not friends no more because of Fessy throwing Amber B into elimination. Fessy mushes Josh in the face. That was how the episode ended. So this episode picks up off of that. Josh saying that from now on, every time we go on elimination, I'm going to throw you in, this, that, and the third. And then you have Amber B talking to Esther, and I was surprised by this with Amber B. She told Esther, she was like, don't ever put your hands on me again because I would never do that to you. She said, as a woman, I felt really disrespected, and don't ever let that happen again. And I was like, whoa. Amber may not fight, but her words, she said what needed to be said when it needed to be said. So I was proud of her for that, because then at that point, Esther apologized, said she was sorry. She didn't mean, well, I don't think she said she didn't mean to do it, but she knew she shouldn't have done it. They hugged it out. They good. They squashed their little beef. Now Josh and Fessy, they have not at the moment. They still arguing. The house vote needs to be Esther and Fessy so they can go in. So he's saying, fuck the Veteran Alliance. I want Esther and Fessy to go in because they done tried me tonight. So then at that point, Amanda jumps in and she's telling Josh to go upstairs, go to sleep, let it go. She's pretty much just like, take note of everything that happened and who caused the situation, which was Tori and Corey. Know who your real friends are. Sleep on it. Charge it to the game and move on. Like this whole night, y'all need to dead it because clearly it's not getting anywhere. It's just everybody heated, everybody in their feelings. Y'all aren't gonna solve anything right now, which they aren't. So Amanda trying to de-escalate the situation. Josh not trying to hear that. Josh going back and forth. Now he arguing with Amanda, and he's still mad. And he heated about the whole situation. So at that point, Amanda goes and start arguing with Tori and Corey because they the ones that instigated it, and she pretty much telling them that this is all y'all fault because if y'all would never brought Josh to the argument between Amber B and Fessy, Josh would have never got so upset. Josh and Fessy wouldn't have started arguing. Josh and Fessy wouldn't have had Fessy putting his hands on him. Corey's thing was that, oh, Josh is a grown man. He tried to control his emotions. Yes, very true, very valid. But also, we've seen Josh on multiple seasons of the challenge. Josh wears his heart on his sleeves. He plays with his emotions. That's just how he is. He's an emotional game player. So everything that happens to him, he gets in his feelings, and he acts on emotion every time regardless. So they knew what they was doing when they called Josh down there. They said the house was boring. They knew by calling him down there, it was going to spice it up for the night, and that they was going to have a show to watch. And they did. So they got what they wanted. So for them, it's like, well, he's a grown man in the day, so whatever he do, that's on him. That's not on us. But, like, I understand both causes. Like, I can see, like, I mean, you are on a show. You want to make it interesting for yourself because you're away from your family. You don't want to be in this house bored the whole time. So you want to instigate a little stuff every now and then. Cool. But also, don't act like you didn't have a hand in the situation that happened and how everything transpired. Because you know how Josh get. You know Josh going to go from 0 to 100 every time, and he going to make a mountain out of a molehill. You already know that. And Josh did it. Josh gonna deliver every time. Josh ain't never missed about arguing and crying, this, that, and the third. So he did all of that. And Josh upstairs crying. Fessy come in the room. Fessy apologizing for putting his hands on him. Josh like, we can't be friends no more because you put your hands on me. Crying. So Fessy put his arm around him, said, I'm sorry, I apologize, I ain't mean it. Whoop de whoop. Oh, and then Josh has a conversation with Casey, and he tells Casey that she needs to choose between him or Fessy. That she can't be in alliance with both of them, or like try to have both of them on her team. She got to pick one or the other. Like, you can't work with both of us. And Casey's pretty much like, no, I'm not picking one or the other. Y'all need to figure out y'all situation. This is childish, and both of y'all are in the wrong right now, and I'm not gonna pick a side. Josh ain't trying to hear that, obviously. Josh is in his feelings. Also, don't forget, Casey and Emmanuel are still the agency from last week because we haven't had an elimination yet. So they're still the ones in power to decide who's going down until elimination. So we wrap up that night, chaotic, a lot going on. Everybody arguing, everybody beefing. So the next day, they wake up, the house is tense. They know it's nomination day, but they also know that whenever there's a physical altercation, there's some repercussions and some consequences every time. So they know something's going to happen because Fessy put his hands on Josh, and then Esther threw a drink on Amber B. So they like, something's going to happen. Like, everybody's not going to get off scot-free from this situation. Corey and Tori instigated it. So we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know who's going home. If somebody's going home, they're going to separate the partners. Somebody going to stay in the hotel. We don't know what the situation going to be. So they all tense in the house all day. It's a lot of tension, a lot of worry, a lot of anxiety. So eventually, TJ shows up and he do a little spiel about how they need to control themselves. This is embarrassing. They too old for this. So then he got on the line in front of everybody. So he tells Esther, "This is your final warning. Like, don't do it again. Like, you threw the drink on Amber. Don't let it happen again." Then he tells Josh, "This is embarrassing. Don't let it happen again. Like, you're fighting for so much to be here, and you want to win because you ain't never won before or get to a final. So it's like, don't lose all of it over such a stupid situation." Then he gets to Fessy, and he like, "Fessy, you're deactivated." Because at the end of the day, Fessy is the one that puts his hands on somebody. And TJ don't play about that physical altercation stuff. Like, you put your hands on somebody, you go home. That's just how it is at the challenge. Which, I'm not the biggest fan. Like, I get it. I'm pretty sure, like, some legal reasons behind all of it. But also, I'm like, it's reality TV. Y'all are grown adults. You're gonna fight. If you get a heat altercation, like, it's not surprising that it got physical. Like, it happened. And I don't think they always have to go home for it. Especially because, like, in their situation, Fessy and Josh are brothers and they cool. Because the next day they ended up making up. They like, we're gonna work together, we're gonna ride this out, we're gonna stick together, fuck all the bullshit. And then now, Fessy's getting sent home. So it's like, I feel like if you do get in a physical altercation, but as grown adults, if you're able to work through the situation and talk about it the next day, you learned what you did wrong and how to fix it at this point. So you might as well, like, it's like, okay, it's supposed to be reality, it's supposed to be real, like, supposed to be real. Then in real life, you make a mistake, you own up to it, you have a conversation about it, you solve it, and you move on and you correct it from then on and there. So the fact that I always got to send you home every time you fight, it's just like, let's be for real. Because back in the day, people used to fight and they always got sent home. Like, let's just be for real. But also, I know reality TV has, like, you know, it's evolved since then. It's a lot more legalities to it. So you can't just be fighting everybody you want to and think there's no repercussions. Cool. I would have been okay if they would have been like, Fessy and Esther, y'all automatically have to go into elimination because you got into a physical altercation. I would have been okay with that. I would have been like, okay, that's still a consequence. And that also make sure you know, don't fight again. Because if so, you're going to risk going to elimination and possibly going home. I would have been cool with that. But that ain't how it work here. So TJ tells them they have 15 minutes to get to nominations, or if not, TJ gonna pick the noms. So at this point, the vets, they kind of blow that Fessy's going home, which is crazy because a lot of them wasn't even rocking with Fessy this season. But they was blow, I guess, about how the whole situation transpired and that Fessy was the only one to go home. So in their minds, they kind of want to send Josh in there because they like, Josh, you getting off scot-free for a situation you had a hand in. And it was like, just send you in. Esther's the only, like, Esther's by herself now. Like, it's easy to put her in because she doesn't have a partner. It'll just be a girls' elimination. No guys will have to compete. But so they want to put Josh in, but Josh is partnered with Ashley. So Ashley tells them, but if you throw in me and Josh, I'm the only one that has to compete. Josh is still going to be fine. Like, Josh won't have any consequence to the situation. I'm the one going to go in elimination and compete. So I think that makes them reconsider that, like, okay, yeah, you're right. There's no point to do that if it's not going to affect Josh, because that's the whole point of us trying to throw him in. So they get the noms. You know, they got 20 minutes to decide on who they want to throw in. So they pretty much are sad that Fessy left, which, like I said, I'm still confused about. So everybody going around apologizing. Tori gives an apology, how it was just a joke and wasn't supposed to get to where it got to. Then Corey gives an apology, saying how it wasn't supposed to get to where it got to. And then I think Esther apologized too for the whole situation with her and Amber. I think Amber said something and how Amber didn't want. Amber also says that how she doesn't want elimination again, so she just went. Ain't no need for me to go back down there again, bitch. Like, I already went. Somebody else go down there. Y'all figure that out. That was a bunch of apologies. And it's like, do y'all really mean these apologies, or are you just saying them to cover your ass at the moment? And I'm pretty sure it was to cover their ass. But, I mean, I guess it worked because they didn't get nominated. So, during the nomination ceremony, Ed makes a point. He's like, it would just make sense to vote for Esther. So, it'll just be a girls' elimination. And then the agency, which is Casey and Manuel, only have to throw in a girl and not like, get too much blood on their hands, basically. So, they like, yeah, that is a good point. So, they do the noms. It's Fessy and Esther. Obviously, not surprised. So Huey and Emmy, they lucked up this week. Because if you know, Huey and Emmy were the rookie team. And like just in the challenge, as always, if some drama happens, some shit gets started, it can switch how votes go real quick. So by all that drama happening, Huey and Emmy staying out of it. So at this point, you know, they sitting pretty, they cool, they ain't got to worry about going elimination. They getting by being a rookie team for the first week so far ever. So I was proud of them. Granted, they didn't do anything, but I think because they didn't do anything, they're the reason they got by. Emmy and Huey also know by being together, they're still a rookie team, and that if they stay together, they're just going to go in next week. So they know they still have to separate. So Emmy's like, since this is a girl elimination, I still want to go in so I can have the chance to pick my partner. And Emmy, she loves CT, his uncle CT, everything's about CT. So she wants to go in, so she has the chance to pick CT as her partner. Now, they show us a conversation where Emmy talks to Berna, and Berna really, basically tells Emmy she doesn't want Emmy to pick CT because Berna likes working with CT. Like, that keeps her in good standing. She's on a good team with a good partner. She ain't got to worry about much. Emmy still wants to pick CT, but she tells Berna, yeah, of course, I won't pick him. We good. You know, we cool. Pretty much, like, Berna and Emmy are pretty close in the house right now. So Berna trusts Emmy's word that she won't pick CT. But the rest of the house, know that Emmy plans on picking CT. Even CT knows that Emmy plans on picking him. And CT also doesn't want to work with Burner anymore because Burner going around the house. She talking too much. She doing too much that might affect his game. Because Burner has a conversation with Casey and tells her basically that she wants Amber B thrown in because she still considers Amber B fake and all this extra stuff. And it's like, Burner, you're not in the position in the house to feel like you can go tell the agency what moves to make. You're still a rookie. Play your role. And now your partner's mad at you because you're talking too much. You're supposed to just lay low. CT is good for just laying low. When they put him in, he do what he got to do, and it's over with. Now you talking too much. Why would I want to be with you? Now you're a liability. So CT like, yeah, we need to do whatever we got to do to give me a new partner because I can't rock with this. Then we get to the elimination. We walk into the elimination. I see a skinny little hall, and you already know we got us a hall brawl. I'm like, finally, hall brawls. Hall brawls are supposed to be like the best elimination every season. Depends on who's in them. They're always better with guys usually, but sometimes the girls do what they got to do. So I'm like, let's see what's going to happen. Let's find out. So we get to elimination. Esther comes down. CT says that the agency has to pick a girl to send down to face off against Esther. They ended up picking Emmy, as we expected. It's Emmy versus Esther. This hall brawl is a little different. Normally hall brawls, they start at different ends of the hall. They have to run through each other, and you have to get to the other side and ring the bell. But this time there's a cage that makes up the hall, and in the opposite end, you have to climb up the cage to ring your bell instead of just running through and swiping it. So, you know, a new little element, something different. You know, the challenge always got to switch it up every now and then. I was like, okay, cool, all right. Might rock with this. Honestly, I don't know how it's going to go. I've never seen either of them do anything physical for real. So I'm like, it could honestly go either way. And we're just going to hope the best man win. I didn't really care who won, to be honest. I don't care that much about Esther or Emmy. But, you know, I was rocking with Esther because... So I was hoping she was going to pull it out. I was like, okay, Esther, do what you got to do. Get that grit into you. Make it happen. Best 2 out of 3. So they do round 1. Esther gets a good hold on Emmy. She lock her up. She holding on to her. But while she holding on to her, Emmy just dragging her. And I'm like, Esther, you holding well, but you need to get closer to your opposite end. She dragging you all the way back to where you started. And that's not how the game gonna work. That's not gonna help you win. So they did that for a little while. Esther got her legs and just got her legs. That's it. So Emmy eventually breaks through. And when she breaks through, she climb up, she ring the bell. All right. It's already one of the 2 she needs. So it's like, okay, Esther, you gotta pick it up next round. You gotta do what you gotta do. So next round, they get a good bang in, a good clash. So I'm like, okay, you might have disoriented her a little bit, Esther. You might have this one. But this time they ain't hold each other for too long. So they got the clash, they tussled a little bit, and then they went the opposite ways as fast as they could. So they both climbing up the cage at the same time. Now Esther gets up there first. Esther misses the bell when she gets to the top of the cage. I'm like, are we serious? Esther, you had one job. One. That was to ring the bell when you got to the top. And you folded. So after she folded, Emmy rings the bell. Emmy wins. Esther's going home. That was a quick hall brawl. You know, it was a lot of hall, not enough brawl for me. So now it's time for Emmy to pick who her new partner is going to be. And as she already been saying all week, she wanted Uncle CT. So obviously she picked Uncle CT. Not a surprise. So now Emmy and CT are partners. Burner becomes a partner with Huey because now they both don't have a partner. So then Burner goes on a whole rant. Basically like, you were supposed to be my friend. You said you wouldn't pick CT, but you chose to pick him anyway. And Emmy like, well, you don't own him. I can pick whoever I want. And she was like, who were you shouting for during the elimination? And Burner said I was shouting for Esther. But she wasn't shouting for Esther because, like, that's who she wanted to win because she knew that Emmy might pick CT. So that was something she was shouting for her. So Emmy was like, okay, well, now you're a fake friend. So now, I guess they ain't cool no more. Burner said, next chance I get, I'm coming for you. I think Burner can beat Emmy in elimination. I wouldn't be surprised. Like, Burner... She seems more tactical. Emmy, I feel like just, you know, kind of like lucked up in a sense. Like she just didn't have that good of a competitor going against her because Esther said she's never been like anything physical before. So this is her first time. Emmy also don't know if she's ever been anything physical either. But she just had more grit in her for this. So I don't know. But I still feel like Burner could do some damage to Emmy if they get the right elimination on the right challenge. So, you know, that's how the episode ended. This actually was a good episode. There was a lot going on. A lot of excitement, you know, had my blood boiling just a little bit. So I'm like, okay. Thank you, the challenge. We're finally getting somewhere in the season. Now we just need to get those vets in the elimination, and then I'll be satisfied. But yep, that's all we got for this week. I'm gonna catch y'all again next week.